Hello and welcome back to Exploring Sussex, and today I thought I'd just take you for a quick walk and talk over Highdown Hill. Just starting our walk out on the western side of it. A lovely old windmill there and fantastic views across the county. Lovely to see these wildflowers out in bloom still. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a walk along this path, head up to Highdown Hill, and in this video I'm going to be talking about some of my thoughts on the use of Sussex via ancient man. Whilst we're on the subject of ancient man, this field here was the site of an old Roman villa, which is located roughly here. Nothing to see anymore, but it has been excavated, and I've done a whole video on the channel about that. But the reason I've brought you up here is because we've got Highdown Hill Fort up there in the distance, and I've been on holiday in Cornwall and I drove there. It's a long drive and saw some amazing sights upon my drive. Amazing hill forts, things that look like hill forts, and all the way along the journey. And it was a family holiday, so it was not an explore, and didn't get the opportunity to explore, and that's something maybe we'd like to do later as this channel expands and I have more free time available. But currently still having a 8 till 6 job, 6 days a week, I don't get a lot of time to explore in, but hoping as all of the social media expands I'll be able to do more exploring and bring you more interesting subjects. So one of the things that I've noticed down in Cornwall is it was a little bit more unmolested. Over in Sussex during the war, there was a lot of troops located in Sussex, and they were training, and there was also a lot of agriculture because they were trying to feed the war, and that's where we lost a lot of our ancient land to the fields that we see around us. And you tend to find that, or I found that Cornwall wasn't as, it was farmed, but it wasn't farmed in the same way as it was here. I tend to find that here it's more arable crops rather than livestock. So the ancient monuments tend to get farmed away. Just up here you'll see right there we've got a little bridge line, and I would expect that to be part of the outer defences of the hill fort. And this little dimple on the horizon here, possible that that was an old bell barrow, again been completely farmed out of existence. I think it was the Canadians that were up here using it as an artillery point. So some of these things got lost in the whole development of the land, and also the Romans were up here as well. So yeah, there's been lots of usage of this land. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is that through looking at some of my explorations, there was a bridge over the river
Ada
at Shoreham area, and that bridge had a church next to it, St Cuthbert's Church. And when we were down in Cornwall, we went to Holywell Bay. I really wanted to film there, but things didn't align. I didn't get to visit the Holy Well, but that was St Cuthbert's Holy Well. And yeah, it's interesting to see the links between all of these things, and I think people in olden times used to travel a lot more. So going back to the bridge at Shoreham, the bridge was there, and it was said that that was there so that the traders that would bring the minerals like the tins and the coppers from Cornwall. They would make this long walk over to, I think it was Pevensey, where they would then trade with the rest of Europe. So they would be heading across from the west, and they may have been using the South Downs Way along there. The South Downs Way actually cuts across at that bridge. This particular hill fort is slightly to the south, and this is the home or the burial site of the Saxon kings of Sussex. Yeah, I said along that whole route, which was quite a long drive. It would have taken ancient man a long time to make these journeys. So they would have needed pit stops, and I wonder whether these hill forts were like an ancient pit stop for people. So looking at what modern researchers say about these places is that they weren't places of habitation, so you didn't find houses up on these places, and some of them did have fortification, but a lot of them didn't have fortification. So I wonder at that part in our history whether they were being used as almost like little stop-offs along this route to trade with Europe, bringing their wares along. Certainly over in Hampshire area there has been some archaeological evidence that says that some of these hill forts were used for various different purposes, like one of them, I think it's Berry Hill or Barry Hill, was used for horse, like a stud basically. They would keep the horses within the ring fort. That doesn't mean the ring fort was created to store the horses. These could have been created a way longer time before then, but they've had lots of different uses, and it may be that some of them have been built afterwards just so that people can use them for these purposes. So although it might seem more logical to go along the seaside where it's flat and level, the problem is with some of these areas you've got tributaries for rivers that you've got to cross, and also some of the land can become marshy. It's the same on the north side. The north part of Sussex is well known for being marshy and sandy. So walking along the South Downs and the ridge line would be a much better way to transport your goods. And if you were carrying goods, whether that's being horse drawn or some kind of cattle drawing your carts, you'd want a fairly large encampment area where you could spend the night. So one of the reasons that you may find that these ancient men would have come all the way along to Pevensey to cross over to France. In fact, it almost appears that we can see France and Europe from here. I think there's an optical illusion. Definitely over in the distance there, I can make out the Isle of Wight. I don't think you're going to be able to pick it out on this camera. But having spent some time down in Cornwall now, legends have always been that Cornwall is for shipwrecks and for smuggling, and the seas are extremely rough, whereas here we have got these very long and flat beaches and low tides, and the tide isn't ripping so much. So if you did want to land or to get across to Europe, you're going to probably, number one, want to take the shortest route, which would be the Dover-Calais area, even though there's still quite a long 20 miles of paddling in a boat. If you're carrying goods on that as well, it's probably even going to be harder to do so. So looking from this hill fort area, we can see there's another hill fort there, Sisbury Ring, if you're not familiar with the area. But all the way around Sussex, and as I've seen down on the way to Cornwall, these hill forts absolutely litter this chalkway. So on this channel previously we visited Stane Street, the old Roman road, and what was interesting to see is down in Cornwall, by their normal roads there's still stones by the side of the road marking how far, or mile markers to how far the next church probably or village would be. So if you were making these travels, you could gauge how long your journey was. Sad to see that in Sussex all of those milestones that I'm aware of have all been removed and probably repurposed into other buildings, but we do have a much higher population density here. Another thing that I noticed when I was going down there is just how much more land there was with very little housing on. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video of me just having a walk and talk about ancient man and how he would have made his way down from Cornwall over to the east of England to trade his goods, and the speculations about some of the purposes of the hill forts. So if you'd like to see more content just like this, and then please subscribe to the channel, and you'll find a lot more hill forty and exploring videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.